Marriott is hiring and offering you a free laptop to work remotely. Now, if you've just been laid off, then stick around for my resume demonstration to learn how one of my pay bumpies just landed a $240,000 job. So let's hop right in. So the first shout out I want to give is to the beautiful Miss Collin, because she's been with me for a while now, like some years, and she's actually gotten multiple opportunities. But I know a lot of you guys sometimes feel a little bit discouraged when things are not happening when you want them to. And sometimes you're just like, I don't qualify for these jobs anyway, so I'm not even going to apply. And Miss Collin said, if you've been watching Jazzy's videos for a while, but not taking the advice that she gives about applying to any job you want, but don't feel qualified or check every box, skip it. She said, I'm telling you to stop that negative thinking, listen to Jazzy and just apply to that job. I've gotten a few interviews for jobs I had zero experience with, but they liked my resume and they wanted to meet with me and to see if I would be a good fit. And she said she's gotten hired from those jobs, the very ones that she was not qualified for according to her definition, but she applied anyway and got the job. So thank you, Miss Collin, for giving us that inspiration, because sometimes we can use it because we get a little down on ourselves. Okay. And then a couple of more that I wanted to point out is, of course, we talked in the last video about how one of our pay bump members joined on behalf of like his wife, to help his wife out. Like he wanted to help his wife, and look at God, because he ended up negotiating a $240,000 a year full-time remote role, right? Like look how things happen when you're aiming to help somebody else. Look how God blessed him when he was trying to help his wife. Like $240K is huge. That is massive. And so we're going to look at the resume that Matt used, because I wanted to show you guys what's available in the pay bump portal for you, just so you know that I've made this super duper easy for you to get certain types of opportunities and get in front of these recruiters when you've got the right resume. So we're going to look at the resume, right? And one more thing that I just wanted to remind you guys of is a message from the beautiful Miss Tawana. She said, I received a job working for a company that's hybrid. She said, now this wasn't on your site, but I did invest in myself by signing up for Pay Bump. Best investment ever. I had to complete a phone interview. And she says, when I tell you, Jazzy's interview prep kit was everything. It got me the in-person interview. And she went on to say the resume templates are amazing as well. She'd been out of the job journey for 17 years. And she said, you know, she worked for that previous employer for 17 years. And she said, so much has changed about resumes and cover letters. And she said the subscriptions interview prep made me feel like I was cheating on a test because I had all the answers. LOL, Jazzy, thank you. You're a gem. And may you have continued blessings. If this just inspired you, please like this video. If this just inspired you, please leave a comment congratulating these people. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you. So as I say all the time, you guys, clap for people when they are winning. Like you want to be like this person here that was helping somebody else and ended up with a $240K job. Clap for people. Say congratulations. Think about how wonderful it is that they're getting opportunities and how you are now in front of someone, in front of a community of people where that sort of stuff is happening. And so the same thing can happen for you. But blessings do not come to those who pout. They come to those who cheer for other people, who are genuinely happy when they see other people getting opportunities and blessings. Like God doesn't bless people that have a frown on their face. Like it happens when we're happy and when we're just showing gratitude and we're grateful for what we already have. So say congratulations to these folks, clap for these people. Tell them that you're happy for them, and then watch how your luck starts to change. Now let's get into these opportunities. So just super quick for all of my people that are out there saying, Jazzy, I ain't even trying to go back into corporate. I just want to do something quick and easy. I just want to do something where I can work part-time and make my own schedule, that sort of thing. Williams-Sonoma is hiring in several different states for part-time roles. Okay. You do not have to live in these cities, but you do have to live in the state. So they're hiring in Virginia, Florida, North Carolina, all these states that you see listed here. And if you click on them, you'll see that they're not specific about the city, but they just want to make sure that you live in that particular state. Okay. So they are hiring through July 2025. Yes, it is paid training. Yes, they will give you all the tools that you need. Even if you have not worked remotely before, they are going to fully train you. And this is one of those opportunities that's just great for those of you that are just wanting to be able to make your own schedule and wanting to be able to just kind of do something that's a little bit more flexible in nature. So just throwing that out there. Now let's get into the Marriott opportunity. The first opportunity that we have is going to be a product owner. This is going to be a little bit more geared towards my technical savvy folks. Okay. You guys that have worked as a product owner before. So this would be a great opportunity with Marriott, but this is going to be supporting their enterprise chat messaging platform. If you kind of think about it, chat messaging has been popping up everywhere, like along with AI and that sort of thing. But this is a cool opportunity for all of my techie folks out there. And it actually pays really well, $48 to about $77 per hour. Many of you that have that product management experience, you probably can negotiate well into that $70 an hour range. Okay. Make sure you are negotiating for these positions, right? Now, the next position we have is going to be an account manager position, right? This is going to be a sales position, and I'm going to show you the differences in what some companies pay for sales roles. Now, I just want to put it out here what they're paying for this sales role. $35 to $65 an hour. Some people are okay with that salary range, but with the right resume, you can make way more than this in sales. And a lot of you have said, well, what resume did Matt use when he got his $240,000 a year role? We're going to look at that. So make sure you stay tuned. And I just wanted to point out, you do not have to be located in Maryland in order to qualify for these roles. If you live outside of Maryland, they will consider you for remote positions. That's what they've put down here if you don't live near the headquarters. So these are fully remote positions for each position, right? Now, the next opportunity that I want to show you guys is going to be with Zoom, because we want to look at these sales positions to see how we can possibly get our foot in the door, right? Not everybody starts, at the top of the food chain, but how do we get in here? Okay. Let's say you saw a virtual solutions engineer role. Okay. This is going to be kind of like a blend between a tech role and a sales role. And they do pay really well. That's why it goes from $111,000 to $223,000 for the on target earnings. So essentially, you get a base salary and then you get a whole lot of sales commissions. And this is like where people really start to make the big bucks when you're working in these sorts of positions. Okay. But you may be like, Jazzy, I'm not there yet. Let's bring it down a notch. Okay. So glad that you asked me to do that, because the business development representative role is essentially going to be kind of like your entry level sales role when you get into corporate. Now, maybe you've worked as a cashier and then you worked your way up to selling knives and vacuums. And now you're like, I'm ready for the big bucks. I'm ready to really start getting out there. The business development rep is going to be a perfect position for those of you that really want to get into these types of sales roles when you're working for corporate companies like Zoom. So essentially it says a BDR is going to be responsible for carrying out somewhere around 70 outbound activities daily. Now, this could be a blend between making phone calls. It could be sending emails. It could be sending messages on social media, or right here, it says video messages, which all of these things, most of them are pretty automated. So they essentially have a platform that they use that sends out those automated messages to people on LinkedIn or to people across social media to say, hey, are you interested in signing up for using Zoom or partnering with us to make Zoom your video provider or your, meeting provider? So you're not making 70 calls a day, but it's 70, what's considered 70 touch points through various means. Most of the time, people are not cold calling because most of us don't like cold calls. So it is very common for email and sending messages on social media to be the primary source of outreach when people are sending messages to like potential business leads, right? So again, I don't care if you sold vacuums or you sold them dang on knives, you need to be applying for positions like this. They actually pay pretty well. Now, this is, again, kind of like the bottom of the sales food chain when you're working in corporate. So it starts off a little bit less. Most of you probably would come in with 75 to 80K as your on target earnings. If you are someone that does have a little bit more sales experience, let's say you maybe work as a car salesman and you did that for 2 or 3 years, you might come in closer to that 100K on target earnings, right? That 100K a year salary for a position like this. Now, again, once you've worked your way up, you might be someone that can get into being an account executive. So it kind of starts at like business development rep, and then you can move on to like a BDR2, and then maybe you might even jump up to account executive if you do really, really well. So this is for all my people with the gift of gab. Like if you can sell something and make people feel good that they are buying it, or you can show the benefits of a product, right? And make it easy for people to understand. You're really good with presentations. That's why I like sales jobs for teachers as well, because teachers are all about presenting. They're all about pointing out the benefits of something. They're all about educating people on what they're getting. So my teachers out there, you need to apply for this. But what's interesting about this role is that it says they're looking for an account executive in healthcare. A lot of people have said, Jazzy, I don't know what to do with my nursing experience. I used to work in a hospital and I worked with patients. I have no clue what to do with that. Well, have you ever thought about an exciting career in sales? Because there are specific healthcare focused sales roles, especially for you people that have worked at CVS before and you were already working in the pharmacy. Like you've already got some sales background experience wrapped up in there. You just don't know how to position yourself. Okay. So when we look at what this job pays, the reason why Matt was able to get 240K is because look at the range. The minimum is 175 up to 389. So he probably came in very mid-range because he had some experience and was able to easily get them to pay him $240,000. This is the type of stuff that you all qualify for, and you just don't know it yet. You just don't have the right resume. You just don't have the right bullet points on that resume. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at what your resume should look like. So first and foremost, let me just be clear about resumes. I hate it when I see a resume that is 3 and 4 pages long. I hate when I see resumes that have all these fancy little icons on them. Listen, people want things that are easy to read and that are straightforward. So you should have your name, your title. You should put your phone number, email. LinkedIn is optional, but what we do not need to be including is our city and state. Why? Because that creates location bias, right? And we don't want to give anybody a reason to say, oh, they live too far away. Let's go with the closer candidate. I see that happen all the time, which is why I always omit my location. Now, you can put the location of where you worked previously, but we don't need your current home address. We never put a current home address. Now, it's great to have these bullet points, and it's even better when you've got metrics, when you can say big things like I managed a $20 million territory, hiring and training 5+ employees on value add. I scaled my territory revenue from 1K to 1 million annually, maintaining a 30% year-over-year growth rate. Do you see how powerful this sounds? Because when you start speaking like this, people want to pay you $240,000. And if we come on down here, a lot of people want to have resumes with multiple pages, and that's just not necessary. So your skills section can be very clean. Do we see how we're pulling out skills directly from the job's description and we're putting them down here so that it's super easy for the recruiter to read it. It's super easy for her to say, oh, they've got some healthcare experience. They've got some SaaS experience. They've got Apollo. They know how to use Apollo. This is a lot easier to read than when you have something that is multiple pages and it's super busy. We want nice and clean. Do we see how nice and clean this is, people? This looks like a 6-figure resume to me. You see how it all fits on one page? That's what recruiters want. Now, if you need this resume, go ahead, sign up for PayBump, www.paybump.com, and sign up for a subscription so you can get access to this resume and 600 more. We've got over 600 ATS friendly resumes that have been customized just like this one. So you no longer have any excuse for why you're not landing these jobs if you're using your old resumes, okay? Out with the old, in with PayBump, okay? Now let's jump back into these job opportunities. And by the way, if you're still questioning how your job skill sets will transfer, we've put together Get Hired with AI so that you can be able to take any current experience that you have and use it to transition into a corporate role, into a remote role. Okay, that's what Get Hired with AI is. It is the cheat code to getting you in front of these recruiters. Now, another position that we have is going to be with Zillow. This is a sales associate position. So for those of you that are like, Jazzy, I want to do something that, is a little bit closer to the earth, a little bit, something that isn't like corporate sales, but is still going to give me sales experience. This is a sales associate position, right? Essentially, you are going to be on the phones. You're going to be looking at different leads and sending those leads out. And performing some outbound calling. Okay. So what I just showed you is going to be more digital in nature when we look at sales executives. Like they're going to be the ones doing those presentations and closing those deals. But the sales associate for this position, they're kind of like running behind the leads and sending people messages and also, calling people, maybe doing some cold calling. Now, this is going to pay somewhere between $20 to $30 an hour. So you can see the differences in what a sales associate makes versus a sales executive, right? Now, one more position that Zillow has is a clearance operations associate. Jazzy, what the heck is that? This is going to be for all of my people that have ever worked in property management, compliance. Maybe you've done administrative work. Maybe you've done insurance work. Essentially, this is the person that is going to be clearing anything related to titles or judgments, okay, for a property. So maybe there's a property that has a lien against it. Maybe there is a judgment that has been issued against a person that put a lien on a property. You're the person that kind of does like the paperwork in the background to work with people like those attorneys or those underwriters to kind of help document where that property lies. Is it still under a loan? Does it have a lien against it? Does it have a judgment? Do they, owe some outstanding debt against it? So it's a more like a administrative role where you're just documenting those things to make sure that they're being reported correctly, for one, like to the credit bureaus, but also is being reported correctly to the state or to, the attorney's office that may be calling to inquire about it. So you might look at things like divorce decrees to see who did this property actually go to. You could be looking at things that relate to bankruptcy. Did the person lose the property in a bankruptcy? Did something like that happen? So a lot of paperwork, heavy administrative paperwork, generating letters. Again, it's perfect for those people that have worked in insurance because you may be doing some insurance titling. There may be things that you have to do to tie up insurance policies, right? So again, the resumes have been done for you. They're available at paybump.com, and this is going to pay $25 to about $38 per hour. So a lot of you have worked in tax prep. you've done like military processing, a lot of paper pushing for different companies. These are the types of job titles that you wouldn't even know existed, right? This is why we heavily stress using Get Hired with AI, because it shows you which job titles you should be aiming for and the ones that pay the most according to your skill set. So if you need additional help, come talk to me in the private community. That's what our Discord is for. If you feel like you got some questions that you don't want to ask publicly, ask me in Discord. And until then, as I say, if you stay ready, you never ever have to get ready. Oh,